All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about a circle. So what is a circle? How do we define a circle? Okay, so this is how now when we talk of circles, keep in mind that two things that are of importance to us. One is a center point and one is what we call a radius. Okay, and that's going to sort of be the most important thing when we talk about circles. So a circle is a set of points on the Cartesian plane right, and let's call these points xy. So a circle is a set of points xy on the Cartesian plane such that they are equidistant, or they are at equal distance from a center point. We'll call this center point HK. Okay, so if we draw this, right, let's say this is our center point HK, right, we're picking up a set of points that are all at equal distance from the center point, right? So that would be the center. So this would be my center HK, and then all of these points, right, these are all points that are, these distances are the same. Now we call the center point, we call HK is the center of the circle. And this equal distance that you see, we call that the radius. Okay. So every time I talk about a circle, like I said, two things will be very important. One is the center of the circle and one is the radius. All right. So how do we figure out what is an equation of a circle? All right, so what we are interested in now is we're trying to find the standard form of equation of a circle. Okay, so for this, let Pxy be any point on the circle with center HK and radius r. Right? So let's say this is our Cartesian plane here. Okay, here are my axes, and here's my circle. Okay, so this is my center, which is HK, and this is, let's say, some point Pxy, and this distance is r. Right? Now, if you remember the distance formula, how did we get the distance formula? We got the distance formula using the Pythagorean theorem. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, this equation of a circle is nothing but your distance formula. So how can I write r? Well, I know that r is going to be square root of x, right? x1 minus x2, which is in this case x minus h squared, plus y minus k squared. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and square both sides. So I get r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. And this is what we call the standard form of the equation of a circle. All right, so my standard form is given by x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay. So this circle, this equation is really important to us because it gives us not only the center of the circle, but it also gives us what the radius is. Okay, and this is going to be one of the most important equations when we talk about circles. Okay, so we just learned what the standard form equation of a circle was. Let's go ahead and see if we can find the equation of a circle with center at -2, 5 and radius at 10. Okay, so what do we know? So typically when I solve problems like these, I like to write down the equation first, right? So I have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, this here is my hk, all right, and this 10 here represents my r, or my radius. So Let's go ahead and substitute the values. I have x minus h, where h is negative 2, so I have x minus negative 2 squared plus y minus k, which is y minus 5 squared, equals the radius squared, and so that is going to be 10 squared. All right, so if I simplify that, the negative and negative here make positive, so I get x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 100. Okay, and that is the equation in standard form for the circle.